Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Sorry for the awkward hesitation. I'm getting all these messages that one of the places I was streaming was not connecting. So I don't know if you can tell the difference, but I am standing today to do my coffee chat. I have a mat underneath my feet. I'm standing. My head is way above my colorful journey picture here. And excuse me, I am doing this on purpose. Number one, I'm sure you'll agree that you and I are very good at standing and not so good at sitting after being a hairstylist for my whole entire life. I'm much more comfortable standing for 10 hours than sitting for an hour. So this morning I was like, I need different energy. I need to shift my energy. I think I want to stand. And I have a standing desk, which is cool. My son insisted I buy this so I can go up and down and sit and stand and do things differently. So the reason I chose to do that today is to demonstrate to you the difference in how you present yourself during a client consultation. So the title and topic of today's coffee chat is 3 things that make you a savvy stylist, in my opinion. I'm going to be starting to do smaller in-person classes, and the title of the class is called The Savvy Stylist, and it's 3 areas that, in my opinion, are the weakest areas and the areas that are the most important for client attraction, client retention, and having no redos and having just a much more lucrative, amazing career. And it's really simple things. So number 1 on my list, as I'm talking about standing and doing this approach differently, is consultation. So I want you to put into the chat, I always do a consultation. My client sits in my chair. I stand behind them. I talk to them through the mirror. I move their hair around when I'm talking, and we get to where they want to be. And then I proceed with the service. That's A. B is I sit down with them. We talk face to face. We don't even go to the styling chair yet when we're having our consultation. I want her hair dry and I want to see all of her before she goes to the sink and she comes back to me with, soaking wet hair where I can't really see how she was wearing her hair. And then C, if you're honest, is, you know what? I skipped the whole damn thing. I just go right into how are the kids? How was your son's, baseball game? Did they win the playoffs? Did they win the champion? I don't know baseball terms, but did they win? And, how's everything going? And, are we doing the same thing we always do? So be honest with yourself, because it's important to know where you are now to see where you want to go or if you want to make changes. So I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll wait for some answers. So I got a B, an A, and a B for Mary. So I guess depending on the day, Mary does one or the other. C, Valerie, thank you for your honesty. Valerie's saying, you know what, I skipped the whole thing. Carolyn A, Julie A. So for me, keep going. I want to keep saying the answers, a lot of A's. So we, by instinct, our place is behind the chair, right? That's our spot. So we're comfortable there. We're used to the client sitting in our chair. We do a lot of talking through the mirror. But if you were on a date or if you were meeting someone for the first time, you would never stand behind them, stand over them, and look down at them and have a conversation. So I want to share a story of something that really made me realize the power of your physical appearance and your what's the word that I'm looking for? Like the feeling that you project by your body language. So I was going to have a very uncomfortable meeting with my staff where I was going to have to drastically change their pay schedule, their structure. So I knew they were not going to be happy. I was very nervous, and it very well could have completely triggered a walkout. I could have gone out of business by this decision, but it was an important decision that had to be made because I didn't know what I was doing. I opened my salon at the age of 22. I didn't know anything about the money part, right? I knew that I came from a salon that paid me 40%. I didn't think that was fair. So I didn't want to ever pay less than 50%. So as I'm paying this 50%, I have all these bills. My prices aren't right. My structure's not right. I'm paying for everything for my staff, dinners out, meetings, trips, all these things. I'm not making any money. So I sat down with a financial person and they said, Elaine, you're giving away part of your paycheck to your staff. The way that you have it structured, you're working just to pay your staff. So if you want to keep doing that, if you're a nonprofit organization, great. If not, you have a lot of stress and a lot on your plate. You need to change some things. So I was talking to a neighbor who had nothing to do with the beauty industry across the street. And she worked in more of a corporate environment. And I told her how uncomfortable I was and how nervous I was. And she said, I'm going to share with you an important thing that you're going to think is no big deal, but I promise you it's going to make a difference. When you are talking to your staff and you're giving them this information, make sure that all of them are seated and you are standing. You be standing and have them be sitting. It's really important that you do that because I've always done my meetings where we're all in a circle and we're all sitting. We're all equal. We're all sitting eye to eye. So I was like, really? It's that much of a difference? And she said, and if you're nervous and you feel like you need to put your hands on something or lean on something, stand behind your desk or, have like some sort of almost like those sheet music things, like something like a podium type thing that you can stand on. So my desk was a tall desk. So I was like, interesting. Okay, I'll try anything. So I did the meeting. I stood. It made them just uncomfortable enough to lean in a little more and listen to what I had to say a little more than usual. It definitely wasn't as casual as normal. So they knew something was up. It gave me that powerful feeling of like, I'm up here. I am in charge. This really is my business. I have to take back my power, and changed everything. And the meeting went really well. Nobody left. Everything was fine. We were successful. All ended well. And it really made me start to go down the rabbit hole of emotional intelligence and the psychology of the dynamic of someone in leadership and someone, as an employee, and that relationship, and that it shouldn't be equal and friendly and all those things. But I don't want to go down that road. That was just an example of how that shifted. However, I did see a lot of A's here, and the A is the industry norm. It is what is accepted, but it isn't the best approach. So I learned from my mentor many years ago that when you start the relationship with a firm handshake and an introduction and you're eye to eye standing with them, and then you proceed to sit with them and you place your hands on your lap and you have a nice conversation, it's a lot different than this. If I'm standing and you're sitting and I'm doing the consultation, I'm like, okay, so your hair is damaged and it's too blonde, and you need to get some of it cut off. You're too old for that. Like it's like the school teacher who's scolding them. That is the vibe that they're picking up when you're standing and they're sitting. And not only are they underneath you, but they're looking at you through a mirror. So a lot of people, I was going to say women, but it's people. A lot of people get very uncomfortable looking at themselves in a mirror. So they're already in this uncomfortable. They don't know you. They're already uncomfortable sitting in your chair. They're not quite sure what's coming. Then you have them looking at themselves to talk to you because they're looking in the mirror. So they're uncomfortable with that. You're standing up above them. So it's this authoritative, I'm the boss and I have a sharp thing in my hands and I'm going to do whatever the heck I want. So you can understand why there's that little bit of uneasiness that's completely unnecessary. So the difference of walking up to them in the reception area, hi, I'm Elaine. So nice to meet you. Welcome to Lux Color Lounge. It's so great to see you. Your friend Jill sent you in. I'm so grateful for her to send you our way. Have a seat here. I'm going to sit with you and we're going to talk about your hair. The thing that makes me the most crazy is when I'm scrolling Instagram or TikTok and I see the stylist and they're sharing with you, tips on consultation, and they're doing this to the client the whole time. So you're liking that money? So you're liking that pale money piece? Yeah. I like that too. And they just keep doing this and they never ask for permission. Is it okay if I run my fingers through your hair? Are you comfortable with me touching your hair? Can I touch your, like asking for permission? 25 years ago, I never asked for permission. I never even thought of it. But in this day and age, especially after the whole COVID debacle, people are a little bit more like, don't want to necessarily be up in your grill and touched and breathed on and all the things. So taking the time to really understand emotional intelligence and what a client is thinking while you're flicking and doing all the things. To me, a stylist that's flicking and flipping is stalling. They're like, oh crap, I don't really know what I'm going to do to this woman. And if I flick and flip her a little longer, I can try to see what the last person did to try to follow what they did because it looks damn good. Most people ended up in your chair because they're not happy with where they were. So if you take the approach of same as last time, even when it's your own guest, never assume that it's the same as last time. That is a terrible assumption because they came back to you because they trust you and they like you, but they're also looking to you for advice. So how about instead of saying same as last time, how's little Bobby's baseball game? You sit with them eye to eye, hands relaxed on your lap, not like this, and you have the conversation. You say, you know what? I saw you on the book, and I couldn't wait to see you because I realized the last 4 visits you've had an all over brown retouch, and it's beautiful and it covers your gray beautifully and it flatters your skin tone. But I was thinking about doing a couple little sparkle lights on you today. It's my treat. There's no extra charge. You don't need any extra time. You're going to be processing your color anyway. It's no extra time for you. You're going to, get out of here at the same time, but it's just going to brighten up and give a little bit of dimension right around your face to make those beautiful eyes of yours stand out. How does that sound? I promise you, they are going to be smiling ear to ear. It's something I talk about in the Hair Color Secrets Insider. It's something I talk about in my book, Behind Me, A Colorful Journey. Just going that extra step and making that suggestion and making that client feel great. Think about when you go to your doctor's office. Half the time, they don't know who the hell you are. They have so many patients, they don't even remember you. And they go through the chart and they go, and they ask the obligatory questions, but they don't really know you and really know what you've been going through. Imagine the change in the relationship and the dynamic with anyone you deal with, your chiropractor, your dentist, your doctor, your lawyer, your whoever, if they actually paid attention and actually gave you the advice that you pay them for. Most people think, oh, if they wanted something new, they would ask. It's just not true. They're not going to ask for a couple highlights around the front because of fear. They're afraid of the cost. They're afraid of the extra time, and they're afraid of the outcome. So if you said to them, I would love to put a couple sparkle lights in your hair, and listen, if you don't love it, I can take them away in 5 more minutes afterwards. So please don't stress about it. I promise you're going to love them. I have never had anyone say yes to the sparkle lights and not say yes to more at the next visit, and they pay for the more at the next visit. So you're showing them that you care, you're taking the time to give them a suggestion, and you're upselling something that they're going to ask for on every visit afterwards. So that's just a small, little tiny example of the things that I teach differently about consultation. The other things are doing virtual consultations, doing color contracts. There's so many more things that I get into with consultation that you may not be doing that can completely change your game behind the chair. So that's number 1, consultation. Number 2, formulation. We've talked the last 5 weeks about all the different parts of formulation that you may not be doing and my 5-step roadmap. So are you really formulating, or are you guessing and putting an N all over a person's hair and knowing that you're going to be super safe? It's not going to be too warm, too cool, too fabulous. It's going to be pretty boring. So are you truly formulating? Are you really understanding how the color works and giving that client a predictable and beautiful result? There's much more to formulation than pulling a 7N off the shelf, mixing it with 20 volume and setting a timer. There's major differences in application. I teach something in this November workshop where you could actually be taking the color off of the hair and then complaining about your gray coverage not being good. You're blaming the product when it's you, the applicator. So simple little tweaks and changes in formulation and application are also what makes an expert savvy stylist. Huge difference with consultation and formulation. Unbelievable changes in your book, in your income, in your everything. Number 3, last and not least, is automation. I don't know about you, but when I became a hairdresser in 1986, I did not think I was going to have to be a tech expert and a blogger and a photographer and a video editor and an Instagrammer and a Facebooker and all of the things that I and you do now to keep staying relevant and to keep getting new clients. I have been on Instagram for 7 years. I share with you all the time that I am frustrated with, I'm breaking up with Instagram basically is what it is. So I have 6,702 people that follow me on Instagram. And for most people, you'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing, Elaine, 6,000 people. But I come here every single Wednesday and give free content every single Wednesday for 8 years. I've never missed. And I show up on Instagram every single day with a post. I go live on Instagram. I do Q&As on Instagram. I do all of the things right. What I don't do is pay for people to follow me. And I know after 8 years of doing this that 100% these people that look so successful and amazing and have 300,000 followers, most of those people are bot accounts, people from other countries that aren't even in the industry, and it's all ego. And I refuse to do that because that doesn't move the needle forward on my career, my income, my happiness, any of those things. It does not bring me any of those things. The only things that buying extra followers brings you is the trolls and the mean things that they say. So instead of, boo-hooing and feeling sorry for myself, I'm like, you know what? It's not the best use of my time. So Instagram is no longer a concern. I will continue to serve the 6,000 people that are there watching whatever the heck I'm doing. I'll post here and there if I feel like it. If I don't, I'm not going to feel bad about it. So what has happened in our industry is, years ago in 1986, well, actually 1989, when I opened my salon, I didn't have a single client. I left a very successful booked schedule at a corporate salon. I was booked solid, but I wasn't making any money. They were making all the money. I was working, doing all the things. So I left. I did not take my clients with me. I did not secretly get names and phone numbers because I was confident in my skill and it was a different area that I was moving to. And I was like, you know what? If they like me enough, they'll find me. Of course, there was no Facebook. There was no phones. There was no anything. I would have had to take out a newspaper article and say, hey, clients from XYZ Salon, I'm here, come see me. So of course, some of them eventually found me, but I got scrappy and I printed out, I shouldn't say I printed out because I didn't even own a printer. I had to go to a copy center and, I had to type it up on a typewriter. Like it was so bad. We didn't have Canva, obviously. We didn't have any of these things. So it was, perms were all the rage in the 80s. If you're my age or a little bit younger, you'll, agree that we just permed anything that was in front of us. So I did a perm special and I drove to the most busy shopping center in my neighborhood and I picked up everyone's windshield wiper and put my flyer under. You know how annoying that is when you come out of a store or a mall and you have this thing flapping on your windshield. How many times have you actually bought something that some annoying person put under your windshield wiper? But that was the way that we looked for clients. It was all word of mouth, just getting attention. I would get boxes of chiclets, those little square gum, and I would send the girls out to a popular bar or nightclub on a Friday night and hand out boxes of chiclets, mint chiclets with our logo on them. Because when you're out in a nightclub and you have something to drink or you're eating and you're like, oh my God, my breath, and I'm talking to this guy. So we were like, this is a great way to meet people. We like, want some gum? Come see me for a haircut. I mean, when I tell you the shit that I did when I opened this existing salon, I had custom fortune cookies. My theme of the salon when I opened was a feng shui, very Asian. Where that came from, do I look Asian? But it was very hip and cool to do feng shui at the time. So I had a red front door for prosperity. I had plants in the right corners. I had water features in the right corner. I did everything right from feng shui. So I was like, oh, I love Chinese food. So I was at my Chinese restaurant with my kids and I was like, how cool would it be to have an offer be in these people's fortune cookie. Like, I come to this restaurant all the time. If I can ask them to swap out their fortune cookie with my fortune cookie with, you need you need an update on your style, go see Lux Color Lounge. At the time it was Splash Hair Studio. So I had these fortune cookies made. I don't even know if I got anybody from it, but my point is I had to really get creative with finding a way to get people to find me. Now, everyone says, do your before and after. I mean, how sick are you of seeing this all over your feed, 24/7, somebody holding their hands in their hair with the after, and it's my hair, the curled beach waves with dimension. And, I'm so over it. I'm so overdoing it. I'm so overthinking about it. And I really think that if a client is really ready to go see a new stylist, I'm not sure that would be my approach. I mean, I moved to Florida. I have yet to get a haircut that I love here in Florida. So I've given up, and I just I need a haircut really bad right now. So I'm going to reach out to my friend who cuts my hair in Philly and be like, hey, we need to coordinate. Are you coming down to Florida anytime soon? Or do I need to come to you? I need a haircut. And I'll just make do with what I have now until probably December when I'm back home, and I'll get a haircut by her. I would not sit here and scroll Instagram and be like, Florida hairstylist, and look through all the pictures of the same to find a hairstylist. I just wouldn't do it. So automation, as much as we, don't like to be a photographer, an editor, and a social media influencer or stylist, we do need to automate some of our processes. I can't tell you how many times people fight having online booking. They're like, I just won't do it. I'm a control freak. I'm like, you're not a control freak. You're just not really smart. You're working really, really hard, and you're doing all the things that you should not be doing, that you're taking the time to talk to a client on the phone and write their name in pencil and pick up the phone and call them to confirm, and that you're getting stood up, and all the things are happening to you because of the way your systems are or are not set up. So now in 2023, there are so many ways to automate and make everything happen in the background for you. It's like having a digital personal assistant. I can't even tell you how much easier my life is now that I've embraced technology and automation. So we have come up with a brand new platform that it ticks every single box that you need as a hairdresser. It's going to be rolled out to my Hair Color Secrets insiders only first. I've got you guys. I see some of you on here today. Janine's on here. Tracy's on here. Who else is on here? Tammy, Julie, Mary, Angie, a bunch of the Hair Color Secrets insiders. We're going to have a digital event that you guys are going to have plenty of notice. You're going to jump on, and we're going to show you all of the things that this automated platform can do. It is unreal. And I wish that it existed when I was starting out in the industry. So just a little sneak peek of it, if you're not an insider. Right now, our salon in Pennsylvania is our test salon for all things automation on this platform. So we're like, if we can see results and show proven statistics of this platform, then we will know that it's ready to go to market. So within 2 weeks of getting on this platform, one of our girls that's not busy, she's a newer stylist. She's been doing hair maybe 3 years out of beauty school. We recommended that she specialize in something. We're a specialty salon. We have color specialists, cutting specialists, we have curly hair specialists, we have specialists for like styles and, blowouts and all those things. So she needed a specialty. We were getting tons of requests for curly hair. We sent her for all the trainings for curly hair. Her book totally exploded. She's so much busier, but she still has holes in her book. So we're like, perfect. We're going to use her as our test, and we're going to see how this goes. She got 19 clients on the book within 2 weeks of us putting it on this platform. 19, guys. Think about the last time you got 19 brand new clients and with doing nothing yourself. not putting the windshield wiper flyer, not going crazy on social media, not doing some discount thing. It is not a discounted offer at all. We don't recommend doing like free this, free that. No, because that's going to attract that client that you're then going to do the breakup letter 6 weeks later. You're like, lady, you need to get out of my life. So these are the things that, being in a digital space for me, I have to know what's what in technology. I have to know all the things. I'm finding all these tools, going down these rabbit holes with coaches and consultants that I work with that are my mentors. I'm like, holy crap, you can do that at a push of a button. Are you kidding me? I used to spend, when I had my first salon, the one with the windshield wipers and the chiclets, I would sit and handwrite a birthday postcard to every single client on their birthday. I would write them ahead of time, and I had a little file box that I got at Office Max that was alphabetical. And it would be like Laura Binkowski. Oh, her birthday is today. Pull it, or 2 days from now. Pull it out, put a stamp on it, go to the post office, mail it. Everything was me sitting there doing it. And I got to tell you, it was exhausting, absolutely exhausting. But it also was the reason I was always busy. I would get a handwritten note sent back to me because I sent a handwritten note to a client. They would be so blown away that I took the time to handwrite a note to them that they would take the time to handwrite a note to me. New client cards. Hi, Laura. So nice to meet you today. I really enjoyed meeting you, talking to you, and doing your hair. If you have any questions at all about what we did with your hair, styling issues, anything at all, please feel free to reach out to me at any time at whatever phone number you want them to reach you, email, whatever. I would do a handwritten note and say, looking forward to seeing you in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever their next appointment would be, because I'm planting that seed of, hey, don't forget, you're coming back, book another appointment. So that created a lot of retention and a lot of booked appointments. I was booked out months in advance from taking the time to do that handwritten note. I still recommend a handwritten note over nothing else if you don't do anything else. However, we can, automate all that. We can make it where it just automatically happens. As soon as Julie sits in your chair, you have it all set up in this platform. Julie is going to get a wonderful note saying, thank you. It was so great to meet you. Set up your next appointment. Here's the link for my booking calendar. Everything will be automated. So reminders, insurance that they're not going to stand you up, having a cancellation policy, all of those things are systems that we don't usually take the time to do until we're so booked and so busy and we get so swamped and behind. And then we look at our phone at the end of the night, especially my solo people. You look at your phone at the end of the night and you're like, crap, I have like 15 people I didn't get back to. And now it's too late. It's rude to answer them now because it's 10 o'clock at night. I don't know how you work, but I was getting home 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, I can't call these people back now. So leaning into automation and technology, to go back to the consultation, leaning into a digital process for a brand new client to show you what their hair looks like so that you don't get that surprise when they just land on your doorstep with a half-hour appointment. You're like, oh crap, this is going to take like 4 hours. What was I thinking letting her book that herself? So instead of fighting getting online booking and computer booking, do it so well that it's way better and way more efficient than your paper system. I know it's hard to let go of the old school ways. I get it. But I promise you, it's just the beginning of having some free space in your day to be able to have a cup of coffee that you actually taste and enjoy, and not drinking it because it's your lunch and your fuel to keep standing for the rest of the day. When you know better, you do better. And that's why I am a coach. That's why I am a mentor, because everything on me hurts. Like, I don't normally stand for these coffee chats because I have 2 bad knees. I have, multiple disc issues in my back. I have a torn rotator cuff in my shoulder. I have tennis elbow. All of these things from working like an idiot, for lack of a nicer word. I was working like a jackass my entire career. So I am here for you to share with you, how it does not pay off. There is not a gold watch and a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I promise you. All I get now is text like I did yesterday of favorite clients of mine that I no longer see passing away. And not because they're 80, they're 60s. So I am at an age where clients that are a little bit older than me are starting to break down, starting to get sick, starting to die young because we live our lives on autopilot and we just keep doing the same stupid things that we've always done because it becomes a habit. And we just don't even think to sit down and have a consultation with someone face to face and not talk through the mirror because we've been talking through the mirror for me since 1986. So, nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you keep doing the same things over and over again, you're formulating the same way you've always formulated, you're getting okay results. You're doing the consultation through the mirror in 2 minutes because you only have 30 minutes. You're looking at the clock, you have 30 minutes to do Jill's hair, and you're already 6 minutes in just shampooing her and getting the cape on her and getting her into your chair. So you're like, come on, hurry up, chop, chop, let's go. We got to go. We got to get this done. When if you automated your systems and took an hour with Jill and could take your time with the consultation, you can upcharge that ticket $40, $50, $60 in either sparkle lights, a brow wax, a conditioning treatment. There's so many ways that you can do that upsell. Actually talk to them about products. There's so many things that you can do, but you haven't given yourself the gift of knowing a better way to have the extra time to get the result. When I hate saying six figures, but when I tell you each one of my staff members are six-figure people because it's not that hard. People think of it as this big, hairy, audacious number. But if you break down $100,000 divided by, say you take 2 weeks vacation, which I promise you don't, because none of us take enough vacation. But if you do, it's 100,000 divided by 50, divided by however many days you work, divided by however many hours you work. It's that simple. And it comes down to like a couple $100 a day in revenue that you have to do. So if you're booked and busy and you're doing things right and you're charging appropriately, you can easily become a six-figure stylist. I was doing it in 3 days because I needed those days in between to run my salon, to lead my staff, and to be a wife and mother. It was a lot of juggling, but it was not easily. It was done. It was achieved. And each time I started a new year, I was like, what else can I make easier on myself? What else can I put on an automation or get an assistant to help me do? And that is when I found my groove and became the elusive word of content. Every workshop, every coach, everything I've ever done, they'd say, what do you want to feel? What is your goal? And I'm like, I just want to feel content. And content means different things to different people. For me, what I now know as content, the old me thought was lazy. That was a big mind shift for me, is that content doesn't have to mean lazy. It can just mean content and happy and doing what you love to do and not feeling so stressed and anxious all the time. So if you haven't signed up for the workshop, there are very few spots left. We've gotten such a great response. We're almost to full capacity. There's a few spots left. And I wanted to share, a lot of you have asked me if the bangs are in. They are ready and available. Laura is on here now. Hers just shipped out yesterday. Laura, congratulations. You were the first one to buy the bangs. So back to consultation. If a guest brings up bangs, 9 times out of 10, something's up. They lost their job. They broke up with their boyfriend broke up with them. They want to break up with their husband or their boyfriend. Something's up. If someone has let this grow, for me, if I let this grow, I always had bangs. If you look back on YouTube at my videos, I always had bangs. So if I took the time to grow this all the way down here and my hair grows super slow, so slow, like this much at a time. So if I'm going to chop all of that off, I want to be able to show my guests what she's getting herself into and have a good conversation. So many of us are like, oh, bangs, cool. And it's off. And the client's like, oh my God, I didn't even have time to process that. So not only is this a great color tool, showing them, oh, I'm thinking about going red. Okay, are you? Are you definitely going red? Or I'm going to do a shorter bang. What do you think? I pull these out. They're clip in. I clip this in and I show her how much a really heavy, thick bang is going to look like on her, for example. I can show her exactly what it looks like that way. I always say bangs are much cheaper than Botox, so it can be more youthful. For me, I don't love me in bangs anymore. I'm curious to see what you guys think as I flounder with this. But I can show her, more of a swoopy curtain bang by doing this. But it's such a visual for them. Like you could show them that and be like, how about we do like, shorter here and a little longer here. Zoe, nope for me for bangs. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, everybody's saying no bangs. And I did it for years and years and years. I've only had the longer top for maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 years. But how awesome to do this and have the client go, oh, never mind, than to have the tears happen when you get all quick with like, oh yeah, fine, done, and it's on the floor. So these are fun. They are for sale in my Shopify store. I'm going to put the link for you guys in the comments. And we also have the ability, if you have a client that you're doing the consultation on and they have, say, some really brassy tones in their hair, and you're like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to tone that brassy stuff with or if I'm going to make it lighter, you can actually do a test strand on 100% human hair, quality hair swatch. You can be doing that test strand on her while you're having the consultation. You can take these swatches, hold it up to her hair, see which one matches what it is you're trying to get out of her hair. This is a bad example because this is a nice pale result. But if this were a brassy result, you hold it up to the hair and you see, and then you take your glaze and you put it on here and you set your timer and then have your consultation with your guest. And by the time she is, sitting in your chair to get the color, you already know what that glaze you were going to put on, if it did its job, if it turned the hair gray or like rat fur brown or whatever happened, then before you even do it. And that's so worth it. That is like priceless to be able to have the ability to do that. So these are also on the Shopify store. So I have level 9, level 10, and I have 50% gray, 50%. I don't have it here. No, that's not it. 50% gray, 50% level 5, so that you can swatch out a permanent line and see what's going to happen when you use this brand's 7N versus that brand's 7N, or this brand's red versus that brand's red. So if you want to step up your game, step up your consultations, come to the workshop, you can head to the website. Let me see if I can grab the workshop thing. I think most of you on here are either coming or you're not at this point. So I didn't get the link ahead of time because you've heard me talk about it enough to know whether you are coming. I will say, and I said it last time, that where is the workshop link? A lot of people coming to this workshop have come to every single one of these for years, and they're coming back to the same workshop again. So if you're hesitating to come, I promise you this time next year, you'll be coming because you'll be doing the same thing that you've always done, getting the same exact results because you haven't taken the time to do something different. Carolyn said, can't wait for our coaching call. Yes, I do have a special guest that I'm meeting with today just to confirm. I haven't shared with you who the guest is because I want to 1,000% confirm that this person is coming to the call because I never want you to be disappointed. But I'm super excited. This is someone who has been a mentor to me since the beginning of my career, has really changed the way that I think about my business, and to the point of what we were talking about of getting that 6-figure level and having a plan and getting your numbers right. This person is going to be awesome for our November call. So yes, hopefully I will see some or all of you at the workshop. and check out the bangs and the swatches on the Shopify store. And I will see you all next Wednesday. Thanks for watching Coffee and Colorful Conversation.